Ahem, ahem. Once upon a time, there was this broad named Cinderella. Her dad cacks it and leaves her to be raised by her bitch stepmom, who decides to make Cinderella's life a living hell. And her two horse-faced stepsisters decide they can't handle someone in the house who doesn't look like the damn predator or something. So they join in with the misery making. Then one day some rich bastard up at the castle decides he needs some tail and throws a party to get all the local girlies to put on their best clothes and maybe wash their asses too. We get some magical bullcrap, a glass shoe, a bunch of stupid songs, bing bang boom, they all live happily ever after. Until the prince gets sick of a nagging and nails the chambermaid or the stable boy. Those royal pricks really were some horny inbreds. Anyway, you all know the damn story because you've heard it 1,000 times before. But what if the story was basically an excuse for a high-budget, soft-core Skinamax affair and everyone's basically naked the whole damn time? Then you'd be watching 1977's Cinderella. I mean, look at that poster! Look at how much I had to censor it just to get that on YouTube. So let's bibbity-bobbity-boo our asses over to Abraxas and check out the amount of filth we're gonna see.
We have 0 dead bodies, 0 cups blood, 79 naked breasts. A new record for the show. Monster at Camp Sunshine's total has finally been beaten. 23 naked butts, 27 naked bajingos. Another new record for the show. 11 naked dongs. You're not going to believe this. It's another show record. 12 sex scenes, 1 royal boner, 2 girls, 1 sponge bath, 1 bubble bath, 2 buttered boobies, 2 spinning wheel powered sex toys, 1 magical bajingo, 1 bouncy carriage ride, 1 musical round of grab ass, 1 nearly bare-assed executioner, 6 musical numbers, introduction, interruption, running gag, 1 incredibly clumsy Lord Chamberlain, 1 slow-mo avant-garde dream sequence, 1 stolen magic wand, gratuitous coke sniffery, harp gliss cliche, sparkly firework magic cliche, anachronistic disco music, Tom Peepery, size shaman, sequel bait, 1 fireplace burned bum, 1 tumble down a cliff, 1 tumble down the stairs, 1 finger sliced off, 1 aggressively grabbed codpiece, violent breast milk expulsion, crotch popped popcorn, and Cinderella tug-of-war.
So basically, just imagine the story of Cinderella, only the entire kingdom is full of horny, naked people screwing, and there's disco music for some reason. Actually, let me correct that. Since we're here on PrudeTube, you'll definitely have to imagine it, because I won't be able to show none of it here. But I'm gonna try my damnedest anyways. We start things off with Cinderella doing her daily chores while her bitch stepmother's shrill voice jams its dick in our ears.
And then go take in more laundry from the neighbors. We need the money.
Eventually, she collapses from the wike and her 2 ugly stepsisters come in to pick on her and stack up on more chores. And then Cinderella sings away her blues. Cut to the royal palace where the queen is demanding a grand celebration for the prince's upcoming 21st birthday so he can choose a bride from the fairest maidens from all over the place. And where is the prince? In his bedchambers entertaining 4 naked chicks and singing about how he's bored with sex. Aw, cry me a river, rich boy. So the royal announcements are posted for everyone to see.
Gotta get ready for the
Forget it, you're pregnant.
The Lord Chamberlain is sent out on horseback to personally deliver invitations, and it's at this point where the movie's filth starts kicking into high gear. And being 12 minutes in, I appreciate them finally getting to the friggin' point. Each household he visits just happens to be packed to the rafters with horny broads. First house has 2 girlies giving each other a bath. But before he can join in, their father comes in and ruins the fun for the whole audience. Don't worry none though, because the second house he visits also has two ladies. He demands to see their father, but he's out chopping wood, so the Chamberlain invites himself inside to wait. The girls serve him some wine and some fruit, and we get the only actual gore of this one, when the Chamberlain accidentally cuts his finger off. Eventually night falls and Daddy still ain't home yet, and it's about this time the girls have an emotional breakdown. Because the only logical reason the kingdom would be visiting their quaint little cottage is over unpaid taxes or whatever.
No, Lord, I'll do anything to spare my father. We'll do anything for our father.
And it just so happens anything means a treeway. Afterwards, the Chamberlain says he can't wait anymore and hands the ladies 2 scrolls.
His Royal Highness the Prince has the honor to invite your daughter to the great ball he is giving on the 13th day before... Why, that pompous poop!
It's funny because he took advantage of the situation. Finally, we come to Cinderella's house and the wicked stepmother gets all gooey at the Chamberlain's presence. And I swear to Christ, for a hot minute, I thought she was played by Tim Curry. Though she's still more attractive than the 2 cows chewing their cud at the dinner table. He gives Cinderella her invite, gets song number 4 into the program, and then he takes off. The 2 hags start planning their wardrobe, and Cinderella innocently asks what she should wear. And they take this as a chance to really treat her like trash. They strip her down, cover her with butter and ashes from the fire, smear her face with fruit, crack some eggs over her hair, and then drape her in rags. You know, like a couple of mean bitches would. Then the old hag tosses poor Cindy's invitation into the fire. And I'm still not convinced this ain't Tim Curry. I don't care what IMDb says. Reluctantly, Cinderella gets the family ready for the drag show. Sorry, I mean the ball. And the 3 wicked bitches take off. And I should note, as they head out for the ball, there's still about an hour of movie left in this one. Exhausted, Cinderella climbs into the corner ledge and falls asleep. Cue up the psychotic dream sequence, greasy camera lens and heavy-handed symbolism and all. She gets grabbed by a creepy flower-eating freak who I assumed was her father or something, but it turns out he did actually show up at the very beginning of the movie selling milk to the villagers. And now that I know that, it makes a lot more sense when we see him violently milking Cinderella. And at this point, I think we're just watching the director recreating his fetishes or whatever. The stepsisters and stepmoms show up, each wearing a different level of clothing. They hold Cinderella down and, well, I probably can't say what's going on, but let's just say it's pretty messed up and, it's definitely against her will. Not for nothing, but, I know she's a victim of abuse and all, but I think there might be more going on in her real life that we ain't seeing. Anyway, once we leave the Roman Polanski sequence behind, we get back to the actual story. And the one thing everyone knows about Cinderella is the magical intervention crap that saves her from the indentured servitude. And so far, we ain't seen any magical crap in this here kingdom. Unless you count the sheer number of naked peasants who work outdoors and still have impeccable hygiene. So you might be asking, how does the movie handle the fairy godmother aspect? And the answer is, in the most offensive way possible.
Oh, if you're Cinderella, I'm gonna see your fairy godmother.
But isn't a fairy godmother supposed to be a woman?
Child doesn't even know what a fairy means.
They get a black dude to play a flamboyant thief who minces around and swipes anything he can get his hands on. Turns out he's just a thief on the run that ducked into Cinderella's house to hide from a couple of villagers. But he's got himself a swell heart and asks why she's been crying. She tells him the whole story and he offers to help get her to the ball however he can. Though not without a little 5-finger discount payment in return. He tells her to go upstairs and take a bath while he grabs whatever he can and sings a funky little song. He goes to check his goodie bag, and it turns out at some point he swiped a magical wand and didn't even know it.
This wand can perform miracles for good causes only. Caution, all miracles null and void at midnight. Keep out of reach of children.
First up, he gives Cindy a full makeover. Hair, makeup, dress, the works. And for a brief moment, she's the happiest she's been the entire movie. Until she remembers her invitation was burned up in the fireplace. But a wave of the wand and a little film rewinding, and it's good as new. Lastly, we need some transportation to get our hot little ass up to the palace.
Hey, Mama! Don't you have any pumpkins?
No, but we've got some watermelons.
It's funny, 'cause racism. So we get a watermelon coach and snail horses, and up to this point, the fairy godmother has been pretty story accurate. But remember, this here's a softcore porno. He's got one last gift for the girl, and casts a magic spell on her crotch.
What was that for?
I done gave you a snapping pussy.
Now, I ain't no gynecologist or nothing, so I'm gonna let a professional explain this one.
Snapper means pussy. It's derived from an older, more specific term, snappin' pussy, which describes a particular type of pussy, one with good, quick muscular control, kind of an elasticity in the vaginal wall that can grab a hold of you and give you a decent hump. Do you know what I'm talking about? A snappin' pussy.
So off to the ball we go. For the most part, this section of the movie starts off well enough. Other than the ladies in fancy dress who forgot major sections of their outfits, that is. We have lots of dancing and other bored merriment. The prince doesn't look too thrilled at his marriage prospects like the spoiled little rich boy he is. Eventually, Cinderella makes her appearance and catches the prince's eye. Either that or Cinderella's perfume got his allergies flaring up something fierce. He announces that he'll only dance with her for the entire evening, and the ball begins again. Meanwhile, our fairy godmother is robbing the king's bedchambers. Finally, we cut to the main reason this movie exists: sex and naked chicks. And unfortunately, I can't show a whole lot of this part. The prince retreats to a bedroom with 9 ladies, all wearing sheer nighties and masks. The prince blindfolds himself and has his spinning, dancing servant randomly select them, one at a time, to go behind the curtains for the old in-out. And based on that information, he'll choose his bride.
It's good to be the king.
And even though Cinderella's 2 sisters are sitting less than 10 feet away, they never even notice her. So for the next 13 minutes of the movie, we get to watch the prince bang half the room. Fortunately, we never get to see the stepsisters get a turn. And we even see the horny king do a little peeping to see how things are going. Finally, it's Cinderella's turn, and her
snappin' pussy
rocks the prince's world. Unfortunately, that's the exact moment the clock strikes 12, and the fairy godmother crashes the orgy to get Cinderella out of there before the spells are broken. This sends the entire ball into bedlam, and naked folks go running all over the place. Naturally, during the chaos, Cinderella loses one of her glass slippers, and the king breaks into song about it. So now the prince has to search across the kingdom for his bride, and you can probably guess what that means. More screwing. His entourage takes the glass slipper to all the fair maidens across the place. If the shoe fits, the prince gives the lady a quickie to see if she's the one with the
snappin' pussy.
Finally, the prince, exhausted and no doubt severely dehydrated, is carried into Cinderella's cottage. The nasty broads try on the shoe, but thankfully for the prince and the audience, neither foot fits. Then they give Cinderella a toy. The shoe fits, the prince gets another poke, and immediately recognizes her to be the one. But the story ain't quite over yet. We cut to an execution where the fairy godmother's about to get the old Ned Stark treatment. Fortunately, Cinderella and the prince are passing by just in time to stop the axe from falling, and she begs for his life to be spared.
He's the one who gave me the snapper.
He what?
And with the happy ending for all, the prince gets one last happy ending for himself before the credits roll on this soggy satire.
And Cinderella lived happily ever after, thanks to my snap judgment.
So that's that. A silly, sexy romp through one of your childhood faves. Now, I actually remember this one from many, many, many years ago when I was still a little sugar pants. But I never saw the ending. A buddy of mine had one of them Disney moms. You know, the kind that had all those weird-ass giant clamshell tape holders. Anywho, his dad saw Cinderella in the TV guide on Cinemax at 2 in the friggin' morning, and he set the VCR to record the thing. I guess it never dawned on him that it was going to be an all-nude review. When he went to check on the recording, I guess he saw it wasn't a family-friendly cartoon and went to erase it, but only managed to wipe out the last 20 minutes. Fortunately, my friend discovered the tape and he let me borrow it. Several times. So how does a modern viewing stack up? I gotta say, it's still hotter than my mama's ragu. The chicks is hot, the jokes is crass, and the production values are through the roof. Sure, it may not be able to compete with Pornhub or Brazzers or whatever you kids got today, but for a 90s kid who grew up watching late-night Skinamax, it's a great nostalgic time. It actually was nice going back to a time when a movie studio wasn't afraid of throwing some actual money behind a project that wasn't just more comic book superhero crap. They took a chance on this one. Costumes, sets, choreography, makeup, horse wranglers, and an entire cast of sexy people who didn't think they were too goddamn good to nude up for the cameras. And then there's the music. Now, I ain't no fan of no musicals. No judgment if you are. I just never cared for them unless they were something special. Like Catherine Zeta-Jones in her underwear. God damn, I'd watch that broad dance and sing the entire Brooklyn phone book. But the music in this one, I gotta say it wasn't too bad. A couple of them songs was downright catchy.
I take a moment to remind me, someone will come along and find me. Suddenly I can smile away the gloom.
There was a time when my scepter would climb, whene'er a sweet lass came my way. If the damsel was built, the tilt of my kilt was a bold invitation to play.
When we're done with him, that man's not the same. But each one of them is glad that he came. Yeah, even though we talk a good game, it's been years since we had us a man.
His Majesty the King is going to do his thing. He's going to have a royal ball. His Highness sincerely pledges to invite the social register. Only if they'll come one, come all.
You got to grab it and fix it while you can. It's a living, so stick it to the man. Got to grab it. If bread is what you like, it's called a living. So slip it in your pack.
In all my years as king of this land, I've led an unusual life. I've run into many a beast and witch, not the least of which is my wife. But now a young maiden has come along, and she's made my spirit rise with a rare and wondrous talent that lies betwixt her thighs.
And keep in mind, this was before the 80s home video boom when VHS and Betamax were battling out for our dirty dollars. If you wanted to see this one when it first came out, you had to go out to an actual movie theater with all the other nasty degenerates of the city. Now, for anyone out there griping about this one not being a horror movie or whatever you guys complain about, you should know this is what Charles Band was doing before he was all about the creepy puppet stuff. So if you're a fan of Ghoulies or Puppet Master or even demonic toys, you better thank Michael Pataki for giving us the fairy tale Dirty Dirty. Speaking of, Michael Pataki didn't have much of a director's career, but his acting was pretty decent. Heck, you might have even seen some of his work if you was a Rocky fan. The dude was one of the bastard Russians that killed off Apollo Creed, so screw you, Michael Pataki, you friggin' American-hating putz. I'm just screwing with you. Other things he's done is The Baby, The Bat People, which was shown on MST3K as It Lives by Night, Delinquent Schoolgirls, 6 episodes of The Amazing Spider-Man, Graduation Day, and Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers. Our titular character was played by Cheryl Smith, who also went by the more adult-sounding name Rainbow Smith. She was also in Caged Heat, The Swingin' Cheerleaders, Video Vixens, The Incredible Mountain Man, and Laser Blast. The king was played by Buckley Norris, but you might have seen him in Alligator, The Sword and the Sorcerer, Waxwork, Alligator 2, The Mutation, and Waxwork 2, Lost in Time. And in probably one of the weirdest connections, Bobby Herbeck played the court jester here. But there's a very real chance you've seen a movie he actually wrote. A little pizza-powered picture known as Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Apparently, he wrote the first screenplay, which was revised by Todd Langen. But his name is still on the goddamn poster.
I don't care if the prince can't come. My pee-pee's getting very hard.
But during my watch of this one, I noticed one character that I just couldn't get past. The Swedish ambassador's wife, played by Brenda Fogarty. She was this hot little redhead who just couldn't keep her hands to herself, and I couldn't keep my eyes off of her anytime she was on screen. But I kept thinking I knew her from something else. Turns out I was right, as she played the neglected wife Sharon in Summer Camp, which the boss reviewed in year 3. So there goes another nasty little movie for you dirty dogs. And until I find another one worth talking about, this is your Paisan Little Sugar Pants. Arrivederci, you friggin' mooks.
I could use a bottle of Dom Perignon champagne. One, do your stuff. Shit, this wine only work for hunkies.